gamer guys, gals, and everything in between? What's going on? We're back with another episode of the Game Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Drew, and I've got my lovely co-host, Sergio, over here.
Hello, I am heartbroken, I guess.
I think we've all gone through a little bit of an emotional roller coaster over the past couple of weeks.
If you own a high-end PC, you're probably fine.
But yeah, so this episode we're going to be talking a little bit about Cyberpunk.
Yeah, 2077. I guess this episode is kind of really like a news episode. We're going to catch up on Cyberpunk. Obviously, it came out from when we're recording this on December 18th.
This is 18th.
It came out about a week ago.
Yeah.
And then the Game Awards happened.
What a week it's been.
Week, yeah. And then some other big news, kind of to wrap up the year. We wanted to kind of, I think this is a good news episode. We're going to kind of talk about the disappointment of Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And then some more feelings about the announcements and...
Wake up, Samurai. We've got a reputation to destroy.
Oh, sad Keanu memes.
Sad Keanu. No, not sad Keanu. I don't want Keanu to be sad.
And then,
he deserves happiness.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about the Game Awards and some of the major announcements that came out.
Right.
As well as how we feel about some of the winners.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people felt certain ways about
a certain
game.
I mean, I think people feel just a certain way about award shows in general.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure if one specific game didn't win, people wouldn't have felt as upset as people are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, somebody's always going to be upset.
All right. So,
anyway,
Drew, I'll let you lead us into this Cyberpunk, get the depressing stuff out of the way, and we will talk about our feelings and the news and the controversies surrounding Cyberpunk's launch and... unplayability on base consoles.
So if you guys don't know, we record multiple episodes usually in a day, and I was just telling Sergio, I was like, I just want to do I want to get the Cyberpunk stuff out of the way because I don't want to be depressed for the rest of the day. Because we were so in our previous episode, we were so hopeful and optimistic, and we were so looking forward to this game. And God, it has just this launch has just been one of the worst launches I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen a launch this bad since No Man's Sky.
Maybe Andromeda.
Maybe Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't know, but just in general, I think
Cyberpunk was way more hyped than
Cyberpunk was just, and that's I think the comparison to Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky, because the hype for No Man's Sky, mostly due to what we had been hearing about the game, was just astronomically huge. Yeah. People literally took off weeks for this game.
And again, I remember so clearly you were like, No Man's Sky comes out this week, I'm so excited, and I was like, Drew, what if it sucks? And you're like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you never know, Drew. And then you bought it, and you're like, I think we told the story the first episode. You're like, I got it. The holy grail of gaming is right here in my hands. And then it was a disaster.
It was not great. Yeah. I've learned my lesson over countless burns. Fallout 76.
Well, you say you learned your lesson, but you keep repeating.
I didn't buy Cyberpunk this time though.
That's true.
I didn't buy Cyberpunk day one.
That's true.
Mostly due to financial reasons. But anyway, I'm glad I did because. Yeah, it has just gotten, especially on the PS4 and the Xbox One, it has just gotten ridiculed for all of the bugs and the glitches. And we're not just talking about graphical. I mean, they're there too, obviously, but game breaking, crashes and stuff like that happening.
Even where your console won't do anything. You have to completely hard set your console.
But hard reset your console.
Yeah.
It has gotten...
Which I think No Man's Sky never did.
No.
No Man's Sky was just... it didn't deliver on the promises they made. It was still a really pretty game. It still ran fine.
I had a couple of crashes when I ran No Man's Sky originally on PS4, but I haven't played it on PS4 in a long time, so I don't know if that's still a problem. But yeah, mostly the problem with No Man's Sky was it didn't live up to the expectations. And this game, from all reports, the game is actually still a good game... If you can play it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that PS4 and Xbox One players are having right now, is that they literally cannot play the game.
Yeah, so I was. Do you listen to like the IGN's? IGN has like a podcast.
I know they do. I don't listen to it all that much.
They did talk about Cyberpunk, and they talked about like what is the best way to play it. Like obviously it's gonna be PC, but like even certain like you gotta have like a really high end PC to be able to play it with minimum crashes, and it looked great. And then they started like rank the consoles. Like they did like graphic, like how the best looking frame rates and stuff like that. So the highest ranked one they had was the Xbox Series S. The little, because one, it locks at, it can't do anything higher than 1440p, I think. So because it's not demanding a lot of graphical power, like 4K or whatever, it does it does it really well. And then also it locks 30 frames, and it never dips, but never does anything. It stays at 30, which they say that this is the best way to play on console. Yeah. Then after that, it's the PS5 and Xbox Series X. They're practically tied. Yeah. And then it's I think then it's a PlayStation 4, and then the Xbox One are the two. They're tied for like the worst, but they're like they ranked them like PS4 than Xbox. It's Xbox One, but there's the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro did do a little better, I should say. Yeah. But they're still below the PS5.
Right. The point is, like, if you're trying to play this game on current gen hardware, more likely than not, you're going to be running into a hefty amount of game-breaking glitches and bugs and stuff like that, to the point where now, and we'll get into a little bit this later when we talk about the messy communication, but recently, Sony and Microsoft have both started offering like full refunds, like no questions asked, essentially, for Cyberpunk. If you're playing on
digital
PS4, if you bought it digitally on PS4 on the PlayStation Store or Xbox Store, then you can get a full refund now. But yeah, it's such a shame because like this game was supposed to be. Accordingly, it was supposed to be built for this generation.
Yeah, that's what makes sense to me. And I mentioned this in the last episode. We talked about the delay. I said, I remember saying that it made no sense because this game was announced 7 years ago. Yeah, at the beginning of this generation. Yeah, and then they literally worked on it the whole generation. Yeah, for this generation, for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and then. It doesn't work. Those consoles. It's imagine if there was no new next gen, like maybe like for some reason the next gen consoles were gonna come out next year or the year after that, right? Right. Xbox and PlayStation 5. And so we only had an Xbox One version and a PS4, and then this game was released like this. It'd be even worse, right? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it would have been like, I don't know what it would have taken to get
another year of development.
This is why I always say you don't reveal games. Like, I hate the practice of revealing a game like 3 or 4 years out, but this was like 7 years out.
Gotta build that hype, baby.
Like, it's just all a stock marketing scheme.
Because they did it like 7 years ago, and then it was like 3 years ago is when they
started finally releasing gameplay.
Last year, and then it was supposed to come out last year, and it got delayed to this year, and then it got delayed again.
God, I can't even imagine like if it had come out last year. Yeah. Like, damn. My God. It would have been even worse. Like if this is what they have to show after a whole another year for the base console, and like what they're saying is what CDPR is saying is basically they didn't spend enough time looking at the current gen. That was their excuse, which is it's a silly excuse. They were basically spending all of their time getting the next gen and the PC versions ready.
Even next gen's not even ready.
I mean,
the only reason that the games run better on a Xbox Series X and a PS5 is because it's more powerful than those systems. That's the only reason why it runs. It's not like it's not already optimized for those consoles,
right? But they basically were just spending all of their time,
I guess on PC.
On PC, essentially, was the big one. Yeah. But yeah, so like the launch happened on December 10th. We're in December now. yeah, it basically from there kind of snowballed into this, like, just absolute maelstrom of like bad bad communication, terrible, like the CDPR's reputation is, I feel like amongst across the board is like pretty in shambles right now.
Yeah,
like because
so they built so much goodwill with the Witcher series, and especially Witcher 3
with their online store.
I don't know. Do you think it is redeemable at all? Do you think they can redeem themselves?
I don't know, but like,
it's possible. All they really have to just like bucker down and then like patch, fix everything, fix it. But it just sucks that people spend $60 on a game that they can't play until 6 months from now because of patches.
It's just like not to necessarily build a case against them here, but like just over the course of this last week, it's just there's just been more and more reasons not to trust them because they said we simply weren't spending enough time looking at the current gen. Then they were like, oh, well, we could have released a PC version in theory, maybe, like if
it's not impossible. People have done that before where a game will come to PC first, or typically if it comes to console, then it comes to PC. So I think it should have been, if the PC version was ready, release it, hold off console version until it's ready. Yeah. That's the only thing you should have done.
Exactly.
The worst thing is the fact that they were really, in their apology, we didn't know it was going to be this bad on the console. That's
like, how do you not know?
How do you not know?
Well, the thing is, for the game to be released on digital stores on Xbox and PlayStation, they have to pass a certification. And it came out that basically Xbox or Sony and Microsoft kind of just pushed the game through, kind of on a sign of good faith.
Yeah, again, they're a well-known studio. I don't know, you don't like to call them a AAA, but they're pretty much a AAA studio. They're like, I like to say Ubisoft or whatever, or Square Enix.
But basically, it was like assumed that whatever kinks were in the game, CDPR would
fix it,
iron it out before launch. And then so what that says to me is that to some degree, CDPR was aware of the issues on the current gen, but decided to push the game through anyway.
And then, being coy with reviewers, like not giving them console codes, but only PC codes, and saying, you can only review the game on PC, you can only use our footage until after the game releases, so that's hiding bugs and glitches. And then, of course, again, you're hiding a whole other group of people who can't play it. How many people play it on a console versus a PC, right? You feel like it's got to be maybe at least 60% of the people who are buying the game are going to be on console. Maybe
it's definitely a broader audience. Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because it's like, again, this is the whole thing about reputation. They built a lot of good faith. They had a lot of people who believed in them, and they seemed like the good company that would treat its fans right or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And then in the end, they just like piss on your face like everyone else.
The final nail, kind of in the proverbial coffin, I guess you could say, came on like December 13th when they released that statement about refunds.
Yeah, and again, that's throwing Microsoft and Sony under the bus.
Yeah. So like basically they said
in stores,
if you want a refund, like you will guaranteed get a refund. Go talk to Sony or Microsoft,
or go return it back to
return it back to a store if you bought it there.
Which is even possible. I don't know. I never returned a game for being bad.
Neither have I.
Just when something's broken, like it's actually like the disc is cracked or something, and I can't play it.
Exactly.
But never ever returned a game because the game itself isn't playable.
Right.
Like that.
I've never done that either, so I don't know what the policy is on that.
So again, I think it put people in an uncomfortable situation where they had to spend hours on the phone with Microsoft or Sony. Some of them got approved and got the refund, and some of them got denied.
Well, it's really sucky because Sony's policy is so strict.
Yeah.
Like if you even download the game, it's non-refundable at that point.
Yeah.
For Sony, like you don't even have to play the game. So. They basically promised a refund that they couldn't guarantee on Sony and Microsoft's part, basically putting the onus on them first, instead of just saying, hey, come talk to us directly or whatever. It was only if they were not able to get help through Sony or Microsoft or whoever they bought the game from that they could come talk to CDPR.
Yep.
And obviously now that has changed because Sony and Microsoft are now offering refunds, no questions asked, essentially.
Yep. And Sony took it off.
And Sony took it off the store, yes. It is no longer available for digital purchase on the PlayStation Store.
But it is still available on Microsoft, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. For now. It could change.
Yeah, it could be taken off.
But, yeah, and then that same statement where they were talking about refunds, they also mentioned that, or they promised that patches are on the way for January and February that should iron out most of the kinks.
I doubt.
But
I don't think this game will have most of those big glitches and stuff like that figured out until maybe like March or April.
Yeah, that's the thing is like if you could have waited just 2 months, why didn't you just wait 2 months? And then also,
why not just wait just 2 months?
They also said that they were not facing any undue pressure. I guess it was the words that they used. But if you're going to release a game now when you could have just released it in February and when the patches would have been done to fix everything, would have been finished and implemented into the game, that does say that you were kind of under some pressure.
Yeah, or maybe you just wanted to... I know a lot of people's bonuses were tied to how the game was sold, right? Like,
I think the higher ups did promise that the development team would share in whatever profits that the game made for the 2020 to 2021 fiscal year, I think.
Again, putting people in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah. It's just a shit storm of negativity right now. I mean, like, again, there's people who are playing the game on high-end PCs, having fun.
Game of the year. Like, it's incredible. The story's great. I hear there were some things that they promised that they didn't do, like life paths. I hear that's pretty much pointless.
Oh, really?
Game. Yeah, I heard that. Like,
I didn't think it was going to be really anything.
Well, because the way they promised it was like it's going to change, how you play, how you talk to people, and there's people who've already played all 3 life paths, and like all it does is it add like your gameplay in the first 20 minutes is a little different, like a little different intro, and then maybe there's like a couple of character interactions where the dialogue's slightly different, but that's pretty much it. Nothing like they promised. They promised like almost a whole different experience or whatever.
Yeah, what I heard was that if you go through basically playing on one life path, if you go through and complete the game with that life path, it'll affect the ending or something.
Apparently not. But apparently, really, it's only literally like the first 15 minutes and that's it.
I mean, I didn't really have high hopes for the life paths anyway. I just kind of figured they were.
They also promised things like you could pay off the police, or you could how big the city was, stuff like that, and then just seeing some of the videos of the city, and it doesn't look that packed.
Really?
It really doesn't look busy. And then you can never talk to the police because immediately as they see you, they start shooting at you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's no serious like wanted system in place for some reason, which is they promised, kind of like a Grand Theft Auto, where like you can like progressively get more wanted by the police and stuff like that. That's not really it's pretty much like as soon as the police see you, they're gonna try to arrest you, kind of thing. Yeah. Do you see any bugs that kind of stood out to you?
So I was watching a couple of streamers feeds, and I did see one crash. I did see the infamous nudity glitch.
Yeah, where like the penis or the breasts would be through the clothes.
Yeah, so the most, I guess, meme worthy, I guess, glitch is the one where like your character model will essentially protrude through your character's clothing or armor and essentially expose yourself.
That's normally how I dress anyway.
So you're just walking around with your tits hanging out.
Yeah, I cut holes in my shirt and I cut a hole in my pants just right. Let it all out.
Is my dick in the box?
And then on top of that, I saw like there'd be characters T-posing, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a big one. There'd be like guns wouldn't load. So like they would like raise their hand up and it'd be just an invisible gun, but you see the bullet.
Oh yes, I did hear about that. Yeah.
And then I saw like cars like just randomly exploding, killing just randomly.
Oh, you know what I did see is I did see a bunch of cars stacked on top of each other, frozen in place.
delayed things. I saw like someone shot like a barrel to explode, and it exploded, but there was no explosion. It just disappeared, and then the explosion came like a minute later.
Jeez.
Obviously, textures not loading. Obviously, AI acting up.
Yeah.
What else was there's a lot I saw, like, invisible face, faces are invisible, it's just floating eyes and stuff like that, typical stuff. I mean,
we play Bethesda games, so we're used to bugs, like we're used to like kind of funny like ha things, like we see it in like that's kind of funny, but the problem is on PS4 and Xbox One, at least the majority on PS4 and Xbox One, it is in such an unplayable state that it's not funny.
I hear that like when it dips down in graphic quality, and sometimes it goes below the 1080 or 920 or whatever.
Yeah. And
also I hear that a lot of the frame rate is in the teens. Like, sometimes they're even saying like on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, like it could even go down to 10.
Ooh.
And they're like, yeah, it's like rough. You get nausea playing the game because it's like the frame rate is so low.
No, thank you.
What a mess.
Yeah, well, hopefully... Oh, and by the way, I want to make this clear. When we're talking about CDPR, and we say CDPR, we're talking about the CEO and the board of directors. We're not talking about the development team.
Nope. 100% it's going to in charge of people higher ups that really, most of the time, I guess, they just don't, I don't know, they just care about money.
We know the development team did everything they could with the time and the resources they had. Like, it's not their fault in the slightest. And I also don't think they should be penalized for anything, either in effigy or financially or by any measure. Like they did what they could. But yeah, we just wanted to talk about that, kind of round up that news, because it has been very pervasive if you're like big in the video game industry right now, and we just kind of wanted to get the bad news out of the way first. So now we can move on to bigger and brighter things, hopefully.
Well, speaking of bigger and brighter, I guess we can switch over to the Game Awards.
Yeah.
I think we just jump right into the announcements. I think that's the biggest...
That's what everybody cares about, really. Yeah. I mean, awards are kind of just whatever.
Yeah, we'll do that last.
Awards are just more for the companies to kind of... Yeah. And then the announcements are for everybody.
Yeah.
So...
All right. So the very first game that I want to talk about was Perfect Dark.
Okay,
the announced Perfect Dark game being worked on by The Initiative, which is Microsoft's new studio.
Yeah, it's not being handled by Rare, which I found really odd. Like,
I did not find it odd.
I mean...
I thought it was fine.
I just find it odd in the sense that Rare was the studio that originally made Perfect Dark.
Who made the original God of War games?
Huh?
Who made the original God of War games?
Who was that, actually? I don't know. But, I mean, it's just... It's not like a bad... Like, I'm not saying it's bad, necessarily. It's just... I find it odd that if Microsoft...
Ready at Dawn?
If Microsoft owns both studios, why not just let Rare do it, Maybe they're busy with something else.
Well, they're working on, like, 3 other games.
I mean, I guess that's fair, and that's like if
they got Sea of Thieves, they got
Sea of Thieves going on, yeah. And Grounded was
Avowed, right?
No, Avowed is Obsidian.
Everwild.
Yeah, Grounded was also Obsidian, wasn't it?
No, Grounded was
Rare. Okay.
And the beta, I think, just came out, so they're still working on the full game.
I've been here. It looks cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, Perfect. Like that trailer. Like I remember we were talking about it, and you were like, "What?"
New IP.
New IP, and I was like, "That's not a new IP."
No, because before they had Perfect Dark.
Well, yeah,
I was delayed. I think it was a little. Delayed.
It's a kind of a different. I mean, not a different take, but it is kind of a weird way to open this new chapter, I guess. Like with fucking. Like all these environmental disasters happening in Egypt.
So I think it's like a complete reboot of the whole series. It's not connected at all to the original games.
Well, yeah, like I mean, there's only been two games.
Yeah,
like,
but there's kind of like I think they're a little more cartoony. And there's like aliens and like it's all spacey and stuff. I think this is more just like they wanted to do like a stealth kind of game. And the studio, I think I think what I've read is that they said. They wanted to make a game, and then they had the choice of new IP, or you can pick from our category of games that we had, like a list of games, and you can take and reboot it. And the guy overseeing the game is like, I believe it's the guy that oversaw Sunset Overdrive. So he worked at Insomniac.
Yeah.
And then the head of the studio was the head of Square Enix, and was the one that oversaw Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider reboot, 2013.
Ooh, interesting.
So it's got a good team. It's got like the level designer from Naughty Dog.
Okay.
It's got some other people from Square Enix. It's got, I think pretty much what they did was they sucked up all these people from
from
Square
other studios,
Enix, Naughty Dog, Insomniac, and
it's like the Borg, like basically assimilating all this talent. Like
and they're like I think Santa Monica, and they created they wanted to create I guess they wanted to open up with Perfect Dark for some reason, but I'm excited. I think it looks cool.
I mean,
it is first person though, which I think is going to be interesting.
Well, I mean, the original games were in first person
but
too. It's a first person shooter. Like that's you gotta play to the strengths.
I think what a lot of people expected. I had no super expectations, but what a lot of people expected was this was going to be Microsoft's Sony-ish studio that makes like third person games.
Like kind of like in the vein of Uncharted, or
kind of in the vein of any Sony studio,
or a third person shooting game.
Santa Monica is God of War's third person story.
Yeah. Last
of Us third person story. Horizon Zero Dawn third person story.
Yeah.
Death Stranding third person story.
I mean, it's. But I'm glad that they're sticking to the roots like of the series.
Yeah. So a lot of people were expecting like a cinematic third person game. Yeah. But I mean, I still think you can do a cinematic with first person. I mean, it's not impossible. I mean,
yeah. I mean, and just to be clear, these games are in no particular order in which they were announced. Like we're talking about them.
I just put them in just random.
Yeah.
Like, whatever popped in my head.
This is just kind of like what we saw and kind of like our reactions.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of reactions, so not the next game in the order in which it was announced, but next game we're going to talk about is Back 4 Blood, which is literally from the same team that made Left 4 Dead. It is a Left 4 Dead clone,
Left 4
essentially.
Dead, and literally it's Back. The number
Back
4
4 Blood. Yeah, the number 4 is in there.
And it looks. The only one that showed gameplay too, and it looks just like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, but just more. I guess like bigger because they have like more. I guess like large enemies now. And they also have just more like weapons and tools you can use.
When I was watching the trailer and then the gameplay, it's like this literally just looks like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, I was like,
high definition. Like
we thought it was just Left 4 Dead 3. Like that's how much.
And I think it basically is.
It basically is.
Valve owns the name for Left 4 Dead.
They probably just wanted to continue.
And the studio wanted to continue making this, and I'm excited. I think it looks great.
It's not a bad idea.
Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 are some of my favorite games.
Yeah, like I have a lot of fond memories of playing specifically Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah. I love the boomer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And all
they got pills here.
I hope this game also has the continues to kind of grow the modding community, that's really big around like Left 4 Dead 2 and Left 4 Dead and stuff like that with new mods and stuff. I'm looking forward to all that. Okay, what we got here? Next game. Oh, another
the Callisto Protocol.
Another clone. Not really a clone.
From the same guys that made
but it's the same guys that made Dead Space,
EA killed Dead Space and they resurrected
Microsoft's bringing it back, baby.
We resurrected the Phoenix Rises again.
That trailer was terrifying.
Yeah, again, the trailer, I was like, this is Dead Space. This is so obviously Dead Space.
You know what I think is funny, though? Apparently this game is set in the PUBG universe.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it the same studio that made PUBG?
I don't think it's the same studio, but it was basically confirmed, I think, by somebody attached to the studio that it is connected to PUBG in some way. I wonder how that's gonna work.
Again, there's not much to say because they didn't show any
gameplay. No gameplay.
They had like interview with the
most of these games were just trailers.
And
like
he
no
said
gameplay.
that it's gonna be one of the scariest games.
They're aiming to make this the scariest game on consoles. I don't remember if he specifically mentioned PC. I don't think he did.
I don't know.
I know he specifically mentioned consoles.
Original Dead Space is terrifying.
Yeah,
it's so scary. And then 2 and 3 are a little more action.
Yeah.
More stressful.
So I'm glad that they're making a comeback especially because we were talking about you were talking about Dead Space 3 in one of your underrated games, and you wish the series would come back. And
I know, I'm excited.
Kind of stuff.
Like a lot of I guess I don't learn my lesson because with Cyberpunk, I didn't buy it obviously, but like people are like, oh, I pre-ordered it. What do I do?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna buy all these games on launch, maybe.
No, learn the lessons. Learn the lessons. No pre-orders. Okay, so what do we got next, Sergio? What's
So there's a game that came out for the Xbox a couple years ago. I don't think it's on PlayStation. Ark.
Okay, yeah.
Evolved.
Yeah.
And I never played it, but apparently there's an Ark 2 coming out.
Yeah.
And it stars my main man, Vin Diesel.
Vinny D? Vinny D? What the hell? Yeah, I saw that trailer and I was like, what? I'm sorry?
Well, I had no idea what it was until the Ark. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was a Turok reboot. I was like, what is going on right now? Yeah, I didn't play Ark 1. I don't know what Ark. Yeah, I don't know what Ark's about.
It's kind of like a Minecraft with dinosaurs and.
I mean,
but it's fun.
I guess that's
My only issue is that the trailer looks really bad.
Yeah, it kind of has that uncanny valley.
It's just a cinematic trailer, but the blood looked terrible.
Yeah, the blood looks so cartoonish.
The what else was there? It was like the frame rate was weird. I was like, man, if the trailer looks this bad, then I can't imagine what the game's gonna be like.
The big thing for me was the blood. The blood looked really cartoony. I was like, okay, that's got to be fixed, right?
And then they announced a TV series.
Oh yeah, there's an animated TV series coming.
Vin Diesel.
The cast list though, like
was it like Elliot Page,
Vin
Diesel, I don't remember who else.
Ark animated series.
Mark Hamill, yes, I don't know.
No, Mark Hamill's
a raptor from Jurassic Park.
It's basically the Avengers, but yeah.
Tony Stark.
Okay, so let's David Tennant, Carl Urban, Gerard Butler, Michelle Yeoh, Russell Crowe, Malcolm McDowell, Alan Tudyk, Jeffrey Wright. From Westworld, like Jesus, this cast list.
Jeffrey Wright, Commissioner Gordon. Now,
yes,
Drew, thank you very much.
He's still got one more film as Felix Leiter that we haven't seen yet. So,
which we'll probably never see.
Hopefully not. Yeah, like Jesus, that cast list alone.
More excited for the show than the actual game.
I was about to say the cast list alone has me sold on the show. Like All
right, Drew.
Okay.
Get us to their next announcement.
Oh boy, this was actually the one they started the show with.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say they played their strongest card first, but
I don't think so.
Damn, this was a strong card to start off with. Like, okay, so Smash Ultimate trailer, right?
Yeah.
Starts playing. It's got basically the World of Light cinematic where, you've got Galeem and all the master hands and the crazy hands up in the sky and all the heroes are looking really beleaguered, I guess, and defeated. And then Galeem and all the master hands and the crazy hands just get obliterated in like one stroke. And then you just start hearing dun 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 dun. Like, holy shit. And Cloud.
Okay, so hold up. So I don't play a lot of Final Fantasy, right? So when that music came up, I was like, this sounds like the Psycho score. I was like, is freaking Norman Bates gonna come?
I mean, Sephiroth is kind of like a serial killer. But yeah, like, and then Cloud starts looking. He's like, oh shit. Like, he knows. And then, yeah, you see the luxurious flowing silver locks of Sephiroth in the sky. Sephiroth. And now he's officially, like, in the game now. Like, he is actually playable in game right now. They announced, like,
it was December 22nd.
Maybe it was just an early access thing. I was watching that.
What they announced was, like, gameplay footage and all that.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was what it is.
He's playable this month.
I
think it's December 22nd.
I thought I saw a streamer playing him, but I guess I was wrong. But yeah, like, well, okay, yeah, December 22nd, what is that, 4 days from now? Yeah. 4 days you can play Sephiroth in Smash. This is not a drill. Holy shit. I mean, I think, while I do think that there are too many swordsmen in Smash, I would make an exception for Sephiroth, I think. Like, that's just, oh man, that's crazy though. Like, just, and that's 3 Square Enix characters now in Smash, because you got Cloud, obviously, you got Sephiroth, and then you got Hero from the Dragon Quest series.
Gotcha.
So, can we get Sora maybe for the Quadro?
Right.
Sora's
so
like
a really.
They
said there's 3 more fighters.
Yeah, there's 3 more fighters in this fighter pass.
Who are your last 3?
Okay, one I gotta give one to Sora because I mean like me and like literally everybody else want him to be in it.
Uh-huh. Does he have a giant key?
Huh?
Is he gonna have a giant key?
I mean just a normal sized key. Like just what do you mean?
Is it a keyblade?
The keyblade is like it's like 5 feet in length.
It's a key.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a giant key.
No giant key. No, got to be proportional. I don't really know who else I would want to be in Smash at this point. Like there's so many.
Pick 2 more fighters. Goofy and Donald.
No. Okay, I'm gonna throw out 2 names that I don't think will ever happen.
Mm-hmm.
Scorpion.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. And Kratos. I don't think it'll ever happen.
That's too crazy. Now you're going too crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It will never happen.
I'll tell you my 3. I'm thinking Crash Bandicoot.
Okay, yeah, I can see that happening.
He's gonna be one. Master freaking Chief.
Master Chief, okay.
And then I think there's got to be one more Sony character. It's got to be someone on the same level as like Snake, like Solid Snake.
Nathan Drake.
Nah, that'd be too silly. Maybe like Sackboy or something.
Okay, actually, Sackboy could have a pretty unique skill set.
Uh-huh.
I feel like. I was gonna say like maybe Spyro.
Spyro, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you get Crash, I think it's gonna be. I think Crash Bandicoot is definitely gonna end up being one of them.
Maybe.
I don't see like they got Bandicoot.
Well, now with the Crash Bandicoot 4 coming out, yeah,
and it's on Switch, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I can see that.
You got, and then Master Chief, I think, is a real possibility because Minecraft now is in it, and Xbox and Nintendo are like super close. Oddly enough, like BFFs.
They've got it. They've become like really good friends, I guess, lately. Like,
or Cuphead. I think he could be also a character.
I mean, when you both hate Sony, I mean, it's pretty easy to become friends.
I really don't think it's they hate Sony. I really think it's Sony hates them.
I know. Like, I think it's just like it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. Like right now.
The way I picture it is where it's like 2 kids at school and they're like, "Oh, you're pretty cool. Want to hang out?" Yeah. There's another kid that they kind of like, "Oh, he's kind of cool. Hey, man, you want to hang out?" And he's like, "No, I'm a loner. I gotta sit over here." That's Sony.
I'm only making this comparison because I've been watching a lot. I've been watching through Avatar: The Last Airbender again, but it's like when Zuko finally joins the group in book 3. Like,
I'm sure that they're more than they've always wanted. They want to do crossplay with all 3 platforms.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Come on. So yeah, okay. My final 3 answers.
Okay. Yeah.
Master Chief, Crash
Crash.
Bandicoot, and then I forgot the last guy I said.
Spyro or
no, we're going to tangent. What did I say?
I forget. God, we're old.
Roll the tape.
We got old man brains.
Master Chief, Crash Bandicoot, and I said someone on the same level. Oh, Sackboy.
Sackboy, yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking about Kratos coming to...
Yeah. He'll never come to Smash, but,
But I can play him on my Xbox.
But,
I can play him on the Switch now, too.
Huh?
Because Fortnite's on Switch.
Yeah, Fortnite is on the Switch. New skins are coming to Fortnite. You can play as... Kratos, Master Chief.
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian's coming?
He's on there.
Oh, wow.
As Mandalorian, you have Baby Yoda on your side. And then you can play as Daryl Dixon and Michonne from The Walking Dead.
Yep.
Not much to say about it. It's just a little silly.
They were like, oh, we've got Fortnite stuff, and I kind of tuned out because I was like, I don't care.
I just think it's cool that you can play Master Chief on a PlayStation and you can play Kratos on an Xbox.
Yeah. It's cool for people, I guess, who play Fortnite. Like, you've got cool skins.
I still got Fortnite, so I hardly play it.
Yeah. But then kind of the last, like, major thing, like the major announcements we want to talk about, were 2 BioWare projects. The first one that we knew was coming was a new Dragon Age 4 trailer, which wasn't really... It was kind of a meh trailer. Like, it was basically just, like, shots of random action happening while Varric narrated, like, how you're basically a nobody and, like, there's no prophecies and, like, basically trying to play up the angle, like, oh, you're not, like, a chosen one archetype character this time or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, you weren't really a chosen one archetype in Dragon Age Origins or Dragon Age 2, really. You were kind of just a person. Mm-hmm. Like, the only chosen one was the Inquisitor.
So I've never played any of the... Have you played them?
Yeah, I played Dragon Age Origins and Inquisition all the way through. Did not play Dragon Age 2 all the way through because that game sucks.
So I guess you're not excited for the new one?
I'm got mixed. I mean, reactions like the so the story lead and the like basically CEO of BioWare have both recently left the studio. So it's kind of like thrown me for a little bit. I'm kind of like, I don't know what's going on at BioWare, and then also just like all the recent stuff with like the failure of Anthem.
Yeah.
And, you know, like just recently...
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, like recently BioWare's kind of been trending in a direction that I'm not happy with. Like Inquisition was a fine game. It tried to strike a balance between the heavy RPG of Origins and the more action-focused of 2. And I think in some regards it did it well. The only thing I'm concerned about is, yeah, just basically the story, and like what exactly, you know, because like there were some of the characters and some of the story in Inquisition was just kind of like, it was just kind of meh. It was just kind of like, yeah, it was exactly like you're a chosen one who's basically got to do this thing because you have to, not because like you have any sort of desire to, or and you know, it just, I do think Inquisition did one thing really well in the story department. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it and wants to.
Well, it's like a 9-year-old game, isn't it?
I mean, yes, but like I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be playing it like to get ready for this one. But it's just one of those things like, I do think Inquisition did one thing well in the story department, and that's the only reason why I'm excited for 4 right now. If they kind of take it back to more of the, I want them to go back to Origins. I want them to go back to I want them, not necessarily the same characters, but I want them to go back to the kind of writing that they did in Origins. Mm-hmm. And the gameplay and stuff like that of that, and really get back to like the BioWare, you know, like the RPG kings that they used to be, you know, but I mean I'm still gonna play it probably because I need to know, but
never learn your lesson, Drew.
But I just want it to be, well, I'm doing it as a public service, you know. I'm trying to tell all the people, hey, if this is a bad game, don't buy it. But yeah, that's kind of my feeling. It's just kind of a mixed bag right now for me on Dragon Age.
Let's take that mixed bag and put it with another mixed bag. Mass Effect 5.
Oh my god.
So I know, like, I guess there was 2 things going on with Mass Effect. One was one of the worst secrets was that they were going to remaster all the Mass Effect games for the new consoles. Ooh. And it was like rumored for like a year, like almost a year. I couldn't even remember reading about it. And our friend Emma was like, "It's going to happen. They're going to remaster them. I'm excited. I can't wait." And then lo and behold, like a month ago, they're like, "Oh, by the way, Mass Effect Remastered's coming out. It's Legacy Edition."
Shocker,
right? And then I guess one of the best kept secrets was a new Mass Effect game that takes place after Mass Effect 3.
We don't know exactly what's gonna be right now. Yeah. Like, no confirmation. It's just they just literally had a short pre-rendered cinematic where a character from the original trilogy, Liara, shows up and kind of dusts some snow off of a piece of metal or something, and it shows N7. You know, it's the classic N7 logo, and it just says Mass Effect will return. Yeah. We don't know what the fuck that means. Mass Effect will continue. Huh? Oh, Mass Effect will continue. Yeah. Sorry.
From what I read online is that it is a continuation of Mass Effect 3 with parts of Andromeda kind of mixed in. Like, some of those characters will also be in this game.
So yeah, I mean,
and again, basically everything you said about BioWare, about Dragon Age, and everything they've been doing since whatever, since, you know, probably since like 2011. still applies.
Now, I will say one thing, because this applies to Mass Effect as well as Dragon Age. I did read it with the leadership shakeup that the I forget exactly what the name of the team is up in. I think it's so BioWare Austin is going to be handling Dragon Age 4, I think, and the studio. BioWare Edmonton is going to continue to handle the Mass Effect series. So, and BioWare Austin is like, for those who don't know, is like the more traditionally, like historically, like BioWare studio, like from Knights of the Old Republic and stuff like that. So, the fact that they're handling Dragon Age 4 does give me a little bit more hope.
Yeah.
And I've never personally really been into the Mass Effect series. Like, I know one person that really is, and I mean I'm sure there's a lot of people that are really into it, but this announcement was kind of like, for me again. I was just kind of like, oh cool, another Mass Effect game. Like, cool for people who like Mass Effect, you know. So I mean, but yeah, it was a good announcement to end on. Like the fact that they're, because like I'm sure people thought after Andromeda like Mass Effect was dead. You know. So I mean that was it for basically the big announcements. I do want to kind of touch on like a couple of smaller things that didn't really get much time, and they didn't really show off much, but I still feel like they're important to talk about. So we got a reveal trailer for this game called Open Roads. It's going to be kind of like a narrative, more driven story game that's about a mother and a daughter's road trip. The art style looks really interesting. Kind of like almost like an animated series, I would imagine. That game looks kind of interesting. There was also one...
It Takes Two, man.
It Takes Two, from the same guys
did
that made
A Way Out.
A Way Out.
Again, on my underrated games.
Yep.
So.
And so, again, it's going to be couch co-op, and the premise is supremely interesting because it's about this couple that have kind of... Their relationship has kind of gotten estranged, and then now they've been transported into like this...
These like dolls.
Yeah, they're like it's like almost like a storybook world where like... And they have to like rely on each other to get out of the world. So I'm very intrigued about this game and like the story potential for that, and you know the emotion and all that. I think. And then they showed off some cutscene and a little bit of pre-rendered gameplay, not like actual gameplay, but they showed off this game called Century Age of Ashes, which really reminded me of that canceled Xbox One game, Scalebound. Yeah, where basically you ride on top of a dragon, and I think they said it's going to mix.
It looked more like just like a normal, not normal, but like it looked like one of those like space combat or air combat games.
Yeah.
Just on a dragon.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're gonna be basically fighting against other players and stuff like that. And that's coming out actually in February of 2021, so actually not too far off.
Nope. All right. Well.
But yeah,
the next thing about the Game Awards would be who won the Game Awards.
Yeah, who actually won the awards?
And I guess spoiler alert: Last of Us 2 swept like almost every category it was nominated.
Yeah, I mean pretty much. There were a few categories they didn't win.
So did Last of Us 2 deserve all its major wins? It won performance with Laura Bailey's Abby, direction for Neil Druckmann, audio design, narrative, which I guess is just the story, and then Game of the Year. Yeah, walked away with Game of the Year.
I mean, as far as Game of the Year goes, because this is the big one that everybody's like, I don't think it deserved to win Game of the Year. I don't know what other game I would have had win Game of the Year besides... Like, there wasn't another game that I felt super strongly deserved it. I don't think...
You said Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima, potentially, yes. I personally didn't play Ghost of Tsushima, so I can't confirm or deny whether it does deserve it.
See, I didn't hate the win for Game of the Year. As I played Doom Eternal, which was nominated, and Last of Us 2. I guess Spider-Man nominated?
Spider-Man was not nominated for Game of the Year, no. I played Last of Us Part 2 and Animal Crossing New Horizons. And out of the two, I would definitely say that Last of Us Part 2 definitely deserves it more than Animal Crossing.
So, I just think that the overreaction to it winning was kind of silly.
Yeah.
But I think that, I think Hades was a game that people said that could have won Game of the Year.
Yeah, Hades has gotten super popular. It's on my list now. Because everybody's been talking about that.
I think Laura Bailey winning the award was really cool because she got shit on.
She did get shit on.
Which is terrible.
I think
she gave one of the better performances of the year as Abby, and then I thought she should have won last year for her role as Kate in Gears of War.
Yeah.
5.
I like Laura Bailey, and while I'm not super upset that she won best performance, I do think if I had to weigh the two, I think Ashley Johnson potentially deserved it a little bit more just with her performance, but I do think it is nice that Laura Bailey won after she got shit on so much by the community at large, essentially, or by a certain section of the community. I won't say the community at large.
Yeah, a certain section of the community.
Yeah. But yeah, we haven't talked about Last of Us Part 2, I don't think, a whole lot.
I think we're good. I think once you beat the game, we should do a Last of Us episode where we talk about both games.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna replay them both.
I've gotten to that point. I'm still stuck. We've been talking. You've been asking me if I've been keeping up with it, and the answer is no, because I've just gotten burnt out on the gameplay. I don't hate the story. It's just the gameplay has just kind of burnt me out to the point where I'm I don't want to go back there. I don't want to have to scavenge for any more materials to upgrade my weapons, to then try and sneak past some clickers or some humans or whatever. I've just gotten burnt out on the gameplay, and I just don't know if I want to go back and revisit that right now, but I know I need to finish it at some point. But I wouldn't disagree that it didn't deserve any of these awards. Best narrative, again, I didn't really play any of these other games, so
and I guess do you kind of want to wrap us up with these last couple of award winners?
Yeah, so I just want to touch on a couple of the big awards that I thought were cool. So best music and score went to Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I think is cool. I've actually been listening to the Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack recently, and it absolutely slaps. So yeah, that I would say that deserves it. Best ongoing game. This was one that I was really pulling for Destiny 2 because I'm a big Destiny 2 guy.
Never learn your lesson.
And it's a good game now.
Game now.
It's a good dude. Okay. We'll talk. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll have a Destiny 2 episode too, where I convince you to sit down and play Destiny 2. But the award ultimately ended up going to No Man's Sky, which I think they absolutely deserve it for the work that they've put into bringing that game basically back from the brink of annihilation after the messy release that we talked about.
I think so. What came out in 2016?
16. Yep.
It took 2 years to get it to what they promised, and then 2 years later, it's now better than what they promised.
It is thriving. It's not just surviving now. It is absolutely thriving, and they have been releasing constant free updates to the game.
Yeah.
So if you can catch it, I
and now
bought
it's on
it.
2 consoles.
Yeah, it's on multiple consoles and PC now. I bought it on Steam when it was on sale for
You bought it twice.
$30. Yes, I bought it on PC again because I wanted to play on PC and not PS4.
I might just download it on Game Pass. I got Game Pass now, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. It's even more worth it for you now, because you can just download it through Game Pass and enjoy just traipsing about the galaxy, living out your space fantasy. Best action game went to Hades, which has absolutely blown up the internet by storm. It's on my list now to play.
Yep.
It's on my Steam list. Best art direction went to Ghost of Tsushima, which I also think deserves it because that game is just absolutely beautiful. Like the game just looks so good. Best indie went to Hades again. I think it absolutely deserves it. And then best mobile went to Among Us, which has resurfaced again. Because I think it was originally released in 2016 or something. 2018. Yeah. And now it has become super popular again thanks to Twitch, and everybody's playing it and having fun. Like, I was initially skeptical of it at first, and then I started playing it and really having fun with it. That tells you something because I don't like mobile games.
Yeah. Well, now it's on Switch, and it's coming to Xbox.
Yeah, and it's on. Of course, it's on Steam as well, on
Steam
PC
and on Android and Apple for free.
Yeah.
So
it's
pretty cool. I think each version is gonna have its own. Like, I think I was reading that your own skins. So like PC has its own skins, and then on the Switch version you can have own special hats. So I'm guessing a Mario hat and stuff like that. And then I'm guessing on an Xbox you'll have your own special a Master Chief helmet or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted the episode to be 30 minutes, and it ended up being almost an hour.
Yeah.
So I think we should wrap this up.
I think so.
Follow us on Facebook. We are at the Game Raiders Pod.
Yeah.
What's our Twitter handle?
I think it's Game Raiders Podcast on Twitter.
And then we're also on YouTube. Just search the Game Raiders Podcast.
Yeah.
And then Spotify and on Apple Music, Apple Podcast.
Yeah.
So basically, wherever you listen to podcasts besides Stitcher, we're working on that. But we are on Spotify and Apple.
Yeah.
Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on our RSS feed. We love you so much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.